Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are able to see my screen.
All fine, please proceed.
Thank you. As this is indicated, I'm Mlamli Mabulu. I'm the PMU manager at the Amatola Water, and I will be talking about the Amatola Water and as well as the challenges that I experience in the consulting industry. Just a background about the Amatola Water. We have Amatola Water pursues a vision of becoming the leader in providing the bulk water services in the Eastern Cape. We offer a full range of the water services. This capacities allows the utility to be active in a number of services. We do the infrastructure design development. We do the water services, institutional and social development, technical, operational services, scientific services, procurement, financial services, operation and maintenance, institutional and support development, project management, and we work as the implementing agent. But the more focus for this particular presentation will be more to do with the project management. That's where we need support from CESA and of course the consulting engineering services at large. What Amatola Water do, the Amatola Water Board, the engineering services, we are mandated to develop, review the terms of reference, which talks to the tender, the documentation. We manage our tenders are more focused on the, as I have indicated, which is the bulk water supply. We talk about the water treatment works, piping, reticulation, pump stations. We provide the engineering projects support, finished engineering and technical support to consultants, which includes the effective leading of the design, planning, or coordination, evaluation of the engineering projects, contracts with respect to the given scope and specification. On that note, which is the bullet number 2, we do get some areas where we needed your support in terms of making sure that the documentation is in line with the supply chain and is in line with the engineering. I have already get some submission from one of the speakers. Our tenders are not properly documented, and the quality of the tender itself before it went out to advert based on the fact that the design should be in place and there is an understanding of the functionality of that particular tender documentation in order to make sure that we attract the right people that coming up into the tender documentation. We need some improvement in that area. I think it's a lot of improvement that needs to go about in making sure that the designs are in place, because currently we run the project using the provisional sums in most of the time, which means that the designs are happening after the project is in place. Okay, bullet number 3, we prepare the progress report, budget, cash flows for the management and other disciplines, divisions. We arrange the BSc, BEC, BAC, and these are arranged with our SAM, supply chain management. The BSc, of course, is owned by the Amatola Water Board, which is our SAM, but that is, we depend solely to our consultant to make sure that the documentation is in place and is proper. The BEC, I will talk about that later. And the BAC is mostly something to do with the award, which our consultant don't play a role in that regard. And then we brief the external consultant, contractors for the compliance or within the legislation. The planning and the supervision of the engineering design activities of the municipal engineering consultant, monitoring their performance and implementation. I've already indicated that the water board, it does not just deal with the infrastructure that we are mandated by DWS. We also assist the municipalities, which we intend to assist a lot more across the Eastern Cape. The ensuring compliance with all relevant legislation, including the Department of Water Affairs, Environmental Affairs, Occupational Health and Safety Act, Technical Advisory, project engineering, monitoring compliance, quality performance, administration, ensuring of the continuous improvement. That is also some area that CESA need to help us in that regard, the monitoring, the works and the payment of the certificates. We often get a poor work performance of the contractors on site. And then you find that maybe 6 months down the line that the work has been paid, approved, and yet we still have some areas where this work cannot be proven as it has been properly been done. So that's talk to the review and approval of the payment certificates. I want to draw to the consultants this particular project management process flow. I know that it's different to EXA, the EXA guideline standards. EXA has got about 6 stages. And we have about 7 stages. This has been recently approved by National Treasury. I think 2019, late 2019, we have got about 7 stages now. It's usually called the SIPDM, which stands for the Standard Infrastructure Procurement. This now is called the Framework Infrastructure. We following these particular works, we talk about the process flow, which we've got a plan, we've got the construction which is due, we've got the final inspection that talks to the handover of the works. So our tenders now, when it comes to when we're tendering out, we will have these stages and our consultant will be responding accordingly. Then the transformation, the previous speaker has indicated that the failure is within the institution, or rather within the institution of the engineering, that we do not have quality engineers. I heard later that there will be 24 Cuban engineers coming over. And now what we do on this particular item, we require the subcontracting or rather sub-consultants to undertake work of about 30% or more if you're lucky. But there is still challenges in this regard. I don't know how CESA can help us. We want the 30%, but we find that when we go out to these projects, there's already designs in place and we're unable to achieve these mandatory requirements of the transformation. And we subcontract to the EME, QSE type of people. And then we don't just want our small SMME type of people to focus on the monitoring of the works on site, which talk to those residential engineers that just look at the design and do the implementation of that particular design. So we want those sub-consultants to present the designs to the employer, and of course, under the mentoring of the main consultant. We also emphasize the procurement of local service providers throughout the Eastern Cape. We make sure that our SNME come from local and within the Eastern Cape, not necessarily from outside the Eastern Cape. I will apologize to the people that are coming from outside the country, sorry, outside the Eastern Cape itself, because it's a mandate that we improve within the Eastern Cape. The challenges, Chair, is here is another area where we want CESA to help us with is the application of the ethics, acting honesty in protecting the client. the evaluation of the challenges within the evaluation of tenders, the challenges within the administration of the contract, review and approval of the work done. I think there's a gap there. We want your guidance in that regard. And I also appreciate this type of engagement. Maybe we'll talk more into that regard. The PSP not willing to take certain design and administrative responsibility, like the disputes between the contractor and the PSP, especially if there was a flaw on the design. Some of the contractors sort of are knowledgeable and experienced enough to understand what needs to be in place. So, you know, if one does not want to appear not understanding the content of the design, so there's that to and fro. But you can quickly see where the problem was. So those highlights as well. Then the PSP encouraged to his views implemented. Clients are not given. Yeah, I think here is a question. I think most of our municipalities do not have technical capability, and now sometimes the PSP, they come with that understanding that they will be doing all the decision making. But I think it is one of the items that we need some improvement within our area. The accountability in the work of work that has been executed, PSP to make mention of the instruction given by the client activities. Sometimes we do have got an issue of accountability when all these challenges do come up on site regarding the contractor and the consultant. And that talks to the design as well, because our municipalities at times, or rather our services at times, we do procure the service of the PSP, having been done a little bit of exercise. And so we encourage the PSP to make sure that they evaluate whatever that was done by the client, or rather by the other PSP. And I think here is a question of business. We understand that we are in a space of making business, and at the same time, we want to make sure that our design are more or proper, working at the best for the client. But often we see that it's a question of making business than solving the problem in that particular problem that we have, or the project. Lastly, there's the submission of payment fee claims not in line with CESA. These are the new challenges that we picked up currently, and I want this item to be noted, and also how do we address it? Because yes, CESA guidelines are it's a guideline, one can say so. But again, if you're not going to use that guideline, I think it's important that you tell the client that, look, I will be using a different item, and then all those should be agreed up front. I think that's about it from my side, Chair. I'll think about that.